All right, so welcome everyone. This is the home lab for Splunk SOAR Phantom. It's going to be fun because we are going to learn about what is SOAR, what is Splunk SOAR, and how to set up in our own home lab environment. This video will be divided into two parts. In the first half, we will learn about different capabilities of SOAR, Splunk SOAR, what is SOAR basically, and what are some practical use cases and what are the prerequisites to set up the home lab. Next part, we will actually practically deploy it. I'll show you what are the steps required to set up the home lab for Splunk SOAR yourself. All right, so without taking much time, let's get started. So in this video, we are going to learn about four things. First, what is SOAR? Second, what are the capabilities of Splunk Phantom SOAR? Next, practical use cases of Splunk SOAR, and then home lab. First, what is SOAR? But before we even talk about it, let's understand why do we need it. Okay, what problem it basically solves. So you see, as per a lot of research and reports as well, security analysts in the SOC environment spend around 70% or 60% of their time just in triage activity, just in the initial false positive related activity, and they keep spending their time on more and more recurring stuff that could be avoided. That's where SOAR add a value. Okay, the full form of SOAR is security orchestration, automation, and response. Okay, this is entirely a single product, remember. Now, orchestration, the purpose of orchestration is to orchestrate all the different tools in the network, because you see in the cybersecurity organization, large enterprises might be having multiple security tools, right? Multiple tools, and these all tools are silo in nature. That means one tool is from one vendor, another tool from Cisco, another from Palo Alto, another from Azure, anything, right? So all different tools have their different format or way of communicating, maybe in terms of logs, the way they generate the log alerts and everything, right? So SOAR basically has a capability of understanding that format and can perform the orchestration among them. Okay, next is the automation. Automation plays a very important role in terms of bringing down the number of repetitive tasks, the manual activity done by the SOC analyst. For example, SOC analysts spend time in identifying the false positive, identifying the real threats, looking at maybe phishing email, identifying if it's really a phishing email or maybe a false positive. So maybe manually going into the actual domain name or URL, trying to perform the lookup to get the IP address, looking at this reputation on virus total and everything, or maybe looking at the maybe if there's any file in the email, so verifying the file hash if it is malicious or not. So all those things is done in the automation. I mean, manually done, but SOAR can do it itself through the automation. Next is response. Now, response is about incident response. So when this happened, what action need to be done? So it's trigger and response. If this happened, this is the entire setup process you have to follow. Maybe isolating the endpoint if the ransomware occur. If there is a DDoS, what action or what firewall rules should be created based on source and destination IP address and everything. That's all part of response. You see, this actually solves a lot of time, lot of valuable time for a SOC team. And at the end, as a value, SOC team can actually then work on something which is more relevant, which is more worth solving. Okay. Now let's talk about the Splunk SOAR, Splunk Phantom capability. Okay. Splunk has multiple ways of Splunk Phantom has their own jargons of managing SOAR capability. First is the app. App is like just the way Splunk SIM has multiple apps to perform the integration. So this plays a very important role in the orchestration, because you see multiple different kind of a platform or security tools might be having their own app. Maybe Palo Alto will be having its own app. maybe Microsoft Defender, CrowdStrike will be having its own app. So that solves the problem of orchestration, the silo behavior of the security space. You can also have app editor where you can customize the default behavior. You can also have playbook. Now this is the heart of SOAR, because this is how you actually create the automation. So playbook is sort of automating the security and IT actions based on trigger and response. So you can create playbooks, basically execute a sequence of action based on your tools based in seconds, probably an hour as well. It has most of the security tools or the SOAR platform provide pre-built playbooks. Even Splunk Phantom also has got 100 plus, I think 200 plus pre-built playbooks. For example, ransomware playbook. If you see any endpoints with this specific malware or ransomware family, so these are the steps you have to take it. For example, you can inform the endpoint EDR to isolate the machine. You can add the IP address in the reputation in the blacklist. You can inform the team in the Slack or maybe on the Microsoft Teams, and then maybe you can then guide the team about what action to be done. So similar to that, there are multiple playbooks can be created, so you don't have to manually work on each and every activity. You got it? So this is playbook. Then we have case management option as well, which is like creating tickets and keeping track of every activity. Event management is all about types of incident you receive. So this is all being handled by the Splunk Phantom. Next is practical use cases. What are some practical use cases with SOAR or Splunk Phantom? First, very important one is, of course, automated incident response process. For example, as I said earlier, if you identify any phishing suspicious email, flagged it as the potential phishing email. So you can search for the copies of these emails throughout the network and delete or quarantine them by itself. Block the source IP address or the URL that might prevent the malicious email from reaching to employee inbox. So in this way, our Splunk SOAR can integrate with solutions like Proofpoint or Mimecast or Microsoft solutions to perform those actions, right? So this is pretty much possible. Next, we have another capability is threat hunting. Now, threat hunting, this is more of reactive threat hunting, right? So if this happen, so these are the action you could take. You can actually look at if the system has been compromised or this looks suspicious, then it can actually take the hash of the file. It can actually take the hash of a sample of the file, and then you can perform a lookup in the entire network if the similar hash file exists in any of the other machine in the network. And then it can give us the report, and then we can take a decision. Then we can create an incident automatically and inform to the team, DFIR team or SOC analyst level 2 team in the Microsoft Teams or maybe in the Slack as well. So this is all can be done in the reactive basis. Okay, priority for pen testing test as well. So you see, penetration testing is a manual stuff, but we can help in we can use SOAR platform to prioritize the pen testing. How? Basically, you can actually prioritize. You can actually assign a value to every asset, security scans, and based on that CVSS score, then you can actually create a new report on what vulnerabilities should we really work first on, right? So threat classification, prioritizing a different task into the network, this can all be done through the SOAR. Vulnerability management is of course a very, very powerful. Splunk SOAR can be integrated with multiple vulnerability scanning tool like Tenable, Qualys, and with that, the moment you add a new device into the network by platforms like Infoblox or maybe in the Active Directory itself, the moment a new device has been onboarded or system has been onboarded or any new asset has been onboarded, the SOAR can actually talk to or send a request to our tenable as a part of playbook. Okay, so in the playbook itself, we can create a playbook saying that a new asset has been added. That will be our trigger. New action would be to send a request to tenable or maybe Qualys to perform a scanning of this machine. So we can get a proactive vulnerability scanning, and then we can prioritize our activity accordingly, right? So this is practical. These are some of the practical use cases. Finally, to set up the Home-Lab, you need CentOS version 7.0. I personally recommend you go visit their official website and download the ISO image. You can turn up the machine on the VMware or VMware workstation, or maybe on VirtualBox. All right. So this is the entire idea about Splunk Phantom. In the next part, we will go through the Home-Lab. All right. So let's get started with the Home-Lab setup. On your right, you can see a GitHub page. I created this GitHub page for Splunk SOAR Phantom Home-Lab setup. I've created multiple steps in it, and first thing first, if you look at this step one, it's just clearing out any, cleaning the system, CentOS, and then we have to update the packages. Okay, so that's what you have to do, update the packages. I've already done it. And then next step two is to download the Phantom package. You can visit Splunk SOAR, create your trial account, and under the download option, you can find two options. You can get it Splunk for CentOS 8 and 7. I personally find 7 is more stable. You can go and download that. I prefer you use the wget command. So click on the wget command and you will get the wget link. I've copied the link and pasted it here. This is the wget command, you get it. So once you get that, just paste it here and the package will be downloaded. You see this? The package will be downloaded here. And the next, once it's downloaded, you can see the package here. Okay. Once it's been downloaded, you have to extract the package by tar -xzvf. Okay. This way you extract the package and then you save it in the OPT Phantom folder. Usually if you don't have it, that's a requirement by the Splunk, okay, installation itself. You have to keep all the packages in the OPT directory only, otherwise this will not work. So if I go to the OPT, you can see the Phantom package somewhere over here. Where it is, yeah, Phantom. You see this? So this is where I have stored all the files. Okay, can you see this? So this is where I have stored all the file after we extract the packages. Once it is done, then you can prepare the installation by using unprivileged user installation. Okay. This way you actually create an unprivileged user who don't have all the permission for accessing the network, and then give me 1 second. Yeah, and then it will ask you a couple of questions. So the moment you perform the pre-installation, like SOAR, you see this file, SOAR prepare system, right? SOAR prepare system. The moment you hit enter, it will ask you first question, which is install prerequisite RPM package required. You just have to say yes. I've written everything one by one. Gluster, then you can skip this. Then next question this will ask is configure the Splunk SOAR. Of course you have to say yes. Enable the NTP services, say yes. Create a non-privileged user. This is where you have to create a new user. Okay, I've created a new user myself. So the moment it will ask you this question, you have to create a new username and a password for it. Okay. Once it is done, then it will ask you the last question about system resource limit. Say yes, and the pre-installation process will be complete. Finally, when the pre-installation process is done, then you can perform the final installation process by executing this file, SOAR install file. The moment you do that, it will perform the entire installation and it would be done. It will not ask you any further question on it. Okay. It's all easy going installation. You don't have to worry about quite a lot of stuff. Once it is done, you can access the source system on the local IP address or maybe the remote IP by using the the system IP address, or maybe by using the local host IP address as well. Okay, what I can do is I can run https 127.0.0.1. The default port for SOAR is 8443, and this should ask me username and password. Okay, because I've already logged in, so it didn't ask me. But if you are logging in for the first time, it will ask you a username and password. The default username is, it's written here, you see this, SOAR local admin. This is the default username, and the default password is password. The moment you enter this will ask you to change the password. Okay, and this is the prompt you get it usually. Let me maximize it a bit. Yeah, this is the prompt you get it. It will ask you to change and update the process, and it will help you complete the entire onboarding process. And once you complete the onboarding, this will ask you, this is the dashboard, you get it. And then next you can go to the API, source, indicator, cases, playbook, all the apps. In the apps sections, then you can actually integrate different apps from Splunk, from different EDR, ServiceNow, everything together. The first thing that I would personally recommend is to integrate the Splunk SIM first. You can get the app from the marketplace, and then you can integrate. More about it in probably in future videos. If you want me to take it ahead to the next level and integrate other tools as well, write it down in the comment section below. I'll make sure I'll come up with a new video in the same series. All right, thank you so much for watching.